So this record only will be used to share between the 8 persons who are registered for this session. So I would like to first of all to give you an overview of the structure, but before I would like, as I introduce myself, maybe you can introduce yourself as well, and then we can have the structure of the workshop, and after that we start the first day.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Okay, so my name's Debbie Crompton. I'm a lecturer at Edinburgh Business School. So I'm digital entrepreneurship and innovation, but I do teach, also teach circular economy and eco-innovation. So that's a course that I've sort of developed. This will be the 3rd year that it's running. What I would say is that I'm very interested in, which is something that we don't incorporate quite a lot, actually, is big data and AI. So really that's one of my main focuses. You know, I'd like to learn more about that.
Mm-hmm. Super. I think this is great because, you know, the core mission of the Cloud Earth Eye is to link business, big data, and environmental issues. So this is great to have you here. I think we will have a great discussion. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I am Devanjan. I am a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellow. I work in collaboration with the law school and informatics school in University of Edinburgh. And my background is in geoinformatics and software engineering. So I take a lot of law data. We are working with peace and conflict data and trying to predict how the events unfold, conflict in different regions of the world. So yeah, we use a lot of big data and artificial intelligence techniques, natural language processing, other kind of textual as well as non-textual inferencing skills. So yeah, and I'm about to appear for the fellowship of higher education academy. So I was looking forward to something related to more, you know, how education and training go in this area. So,
Yep. So the sound was not so clear, but I got that you are
okay.
working. Yeah, you are
Yes.
working with big data.
I'll get back to you. I'll get back with more.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is great because now we have the two end member. We have the business and we have the software and the big data and the IT part. So this is great. So maybe I can give you like an overview about this workshop. Actually, this is the 3rd time to run this workshop. We run it twice with around 40 person from the 5 universities. And we succeeded during this 2 sessions or 3 sessions actually to develop multidisciplinary courses, different courses, because you know we have people from medical school, we have researcher from linguistics, so they came with ideas for different multidisciplinary courses. The idea behind this workshop, as we started, is to like have there is someone is coming to like design multidisciplinary courses that mainly focus on business and IT and environmental issue. But of course, if you have different academic in the workshop that they are focusing on medicine, for example, or other things, so it was a bit more general. But maybe because now I can see like UDB working with the business things, and we have our colleagues here who are working with IT somehow. So maybe we can come with something which is near to the core idea of the project and the workshop. And also we discussed during the previous session about the challenge and the needs of designing multidisciplinary courses and so on. And I would like to maybe inform you that we succeeded to develop a small project out of it. And just 2 weeks ago, we informed by Erasmus Plus program that we got fund for this small project. So you can also use this session like inspiring your minds in order to come with new ideas or so. So actually the workshop, maybe I can just welcome Mayara Sharif.
Hello, Tamer. It's Maria. It's Maria.
Hi, Maria. You are from?
I'm from the School of Maths at the University of Edinburgh.
Okay. And you originally from?
I'm originally from Glasgow. Yeah,
Okay.
and my heritage is from India and Pakistan.
Okay. Okay. Yes. And your background, you are studying or teaching?
So I'm teaching statistics at the School of Maths, and I teach sort of a variety of students. So some of them are master's students, some of them are undergraduates. Some of the courses are aimed at non-statisticians, so those studying, for example, natural sciences. So they're from different backgrounds. So I guess I was interested in attending this course because it was just to find out how best to teach statistics for those that's not their background, and how sort of to use other areas to illustrate, the concepts and things like that. Yeah.
Yep. I think we have a very good match here in this group, because this is the 3-4 pillars that in the core of the cloud RSI. Yeah, so maybe I can tell you more about the structure of the workshop. Actually, the workshop is a sort of 3 days workshop with an interval of 20 days between the second day and the third day. And in this 20-day, it assumes that you will work on a small project. So the first day today actually is mainly about increase awareness. So we will run some videos, recorded video and interview with people that we already did in order to see and understand their opinion about how we can include business studies in our studies, in general study, or how to the importance to design multidisciplinary courses that include different legs in different fields. And tomorrow, we assume that will be like 3-4 hours today. So we'll maybe end around 2-3, something like this. And of course, in between, we will have breaks and of course, lunch break. So please, you can call once you need to have a break. So we can just go. We are small group, so we can just stop by and go for 5-10 minute break and return back. And tomorrow it will be like open discussion. So tomorrow it will be like reflection from you about today interview, and you can elaborate more. We can discuss more and so on. And end of the day, we will try to make ourselves like small groups, two, or maybe all of you, and you will go to prepare a project, small project. And this small project is like a proposal for a course. So you can just propose a course and you can work together for 20 days or 25 days. You can meet whenever you want. There is no, I will not be there during these meetings. You can arrange it as you like between you. If you would like to go for like a project between you three, or between you and other colleagues who are not here. So if you would like to build this course with someone else who is not attending the workshop, you can go ahead for that. And then this course will be presented, like the guideline of the course, the content of this project will be presented in the third day. I assume the third day will be 8th or 9th of September, something like this. So next month. And it will be very short presentation, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes for each. Like the content of the course, the idea behind it, and if you will teach it or not, because this is just a proposal, and you can say, okay, this is just proposal. I made this project for the workshop and that's all. Or you can say, I like to teach it and I will go to the head of my department and I ask him or her to give a permission or to get a permission to teach this multidisciplinary course. So it's again up to you. But maybe I can highlight here that two of the courses that was designed in the previous workshops now is ongoing with colleagues here at Tromsø University. They teach these courses as a pilot study. So it can be opportunity to do something. So that's all from my side. So like the structure of the course or the workshop. And by the end of the course, you will get a certificate from the project with 35 hours. And assume that all of us need such certificates to prove the pedagogical training. Yeah, so I don't know if any of you need or have a question before we start, or
Tamar, can I just ask a quick question? I realised that I've actually got some compulsory training that I need to attend as part of the university tomorrow. So I'm not able to attend tomorrow. And I was wondering, is there a possibility that I can see if there's any availability for some of the other dates, or what's your advice on that?
Actually, we are recording the session. So the people who will not be able to attend tomorrow, or if you would like to leave after 1 hour, for example, for a lecture or so, you can just go and you can come back. So as you like. And if you will not be able to attend tomorrow, the record will be shared between us. Yeah, so this record will be shared 1 hour after we finish. And also you can attend the next workshop. So if you are missing this day, you can attend the next workshop, which I think it's the 3rd or the 4th of September.
Okay, that's great. No, that's really helpful, because I would like to actually participate in the discussions for tomorrow. So and because I'm not able to attend the full day, I think what I'll do is I'll see if there's any availability for the next session and try attend that block instead.
Of course.
So my apologies. I'm going to sign off for today then, and hopefully I can join in on the next block then. Okay.
No problem at all. You can join the next block, which will be in September, or the one after, which will be in October. So we are very flexible for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
yeah, you're
thank
welcome.
you. Hopefully see
You're
you
welcome.
next time.
Yep. So if you don't have anything, maybe we can start with the first like recorded interview. I think this is from Edinburgh. No, not from Edinburgh. It's from Austria. So
Hi, Tamir.
Yeah,
just
hi.
question. Yeah. So if we are proposing, in a group, if we are planning up for a course in a group, and then we deliver the proposal individually, I mean, it would look for every individual to propose a course, right?
No, if for example you and David decide to make one course, you can present it, because it's the same course. You can present it together, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes for you, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for her, for example.
Okay.
So we don't need to deliver it individual. So it will be like, it's very short presentation, and then we can after that open a 20-minute discussion between us.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I will try to share my screen. I hope the sound will work. We'll see. I think it's better to please give me a sign if the sound is working well or not. You are hearing it?
We can see the screen.
But no sound?
Sound is not yet.
No?
No.
No, okay. So how we can do that? I should stop the sharing. Advanced sharing option.
Okay, Tamer, maybe I'll come from the university network. Maybe it will request you to let me in a few seconds.
Yeah.
I'll drop from my mobile.
Yes, share sound. Yep, I think now we are ready to hear it, but I will try to stop share again. Maybe you can wait for Debbie until she is coming back, and welcome the new person. Devin, you are from India or Pakistan?
I'm from India.
From India, okay.
Yeah.
So you are living since long time in UK?
No, I have been around. So I was in Italy, I was in Portugal, postdoctoral fellows everywhere. So recently I moved to UK in Edinburgh. So I mean, in the middle of the pandemic, I started work remotely from India. Then I came here to Edinburgh. It's been just over a year now.
Yep. So I found how to fix it. So now I can share it with the sound. And again, please give me a sign if the sound is okay. This is like 30-minute presentation, and then we can follow it with like a very short discussion between us to summarize it and elaborate more about it. Share.
Today's entrepreneurship interview. My guest is Andreas Pichler from Uli Digital Consultancy. The interview is part of a series produced for the project Cloud Earth Eye Innovation.
Sorry, I have to stop it because just I couldn't see you. So did you see the sound? The sound is okay?
Yeah, the sound is okay, but we couldn't see it. We could just see all your windows so on your desktop.
Okay, on my desktop. Okay, why? So okay. It should be now. Now?
And entrepreneurship for big data in environmental sciences, sustainability, and circular economy. The project is funded by the European Union and EI.
Now it's okay?
Yes, yeah, that was fine.
Okay, so I will share it again. Sorry, because I can't see your feedback because once I share it. So I will share it again and then we'll start.
IT raw materials. Hello, Andreas. Thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you, Alexandra. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to share my experience with your colleagues, and I hope I can bring in some value for them.
Thank you very much. So why don't you just tell us about your business field a bit, and how long have you been working in it?
Well, right now we're focused on digital transformation projects and information security. This is something that's not really new to me because throughout my whole career, I have been dealing with innovation and technology from different point of views, as an engineer, marketer, manager, product manager. So a lot of experience, which I just narrowed down to 2 fields of operation for my own company.
Okay. And what is your personal experience with higher education?
Well, I do have a lot of experience with higher education now, but it wasn't love at first sight. at the end of the 20th century, the job market was very hot for young engineers and developers. We had the dot-com hype, we had the fear of the millennium bug, if you can recall this.
Yes, I'm old enough to recall, thank you.
Yeah, that's going in the wrong direction now, but what I basically tried to say is I was offered a very high salary and I could skip entry-level positions. So after technical high school, I joined the workforce rather than attending a university. But I came back to higher education later on, especially after technology enabled universities to provide online courses. So I still do not hold any degree, but I do have course certificates from over 20 universities around the globe now, and the figure is growing.
Well, congratulations. So you have a broader experience with higher education than most of us then. So initially you forfeited the opportunity to pursue a degree because the job market was such that it was more profitable for you to join the job market right away. But what made you decide to found your own company?
Well, after almost 20 years or more than 20 years working for somebody else, I was in a sabbatical. I was bored, had a crackpot idea and found somebody who bought it. So no super hard Richard Branson story here. It happened by accident. When I look back now, I realized that I always had ideas to found my own company, dating back to my childhood when my brother and I, at around 6 years of age, had the idea to sell paper planes with a fancy paint job, which we thought was a super innovative thing. We couldn't find a market. Somebody rang us to go out and play football, so we dropped the idea, but it was always there. It just took some time to realize it.
Mm-hmm. That's a very important point you throw in here. So you had a lot of ideas, but as the first business idea with the painted paper planes shows, you quickly also understood that you need to have a market for your ideas.
Well, I understood that a market is an essential thing after failing on my first attempt. As I told you, my start was rather accidentally. I had a product idea, I had funding. So I started and failed outright. I realized that I tried to push into a declining market, and I couldn't find a lot of customers, and there is no long-term perspective. So luckily, I was able to rearrange the things in my head and develop purpose and a vision. And from that vision, derive a business model, which is quite sustainable because 3 years after that point, I'm still in business and the company is growing.
So you found the market as well.
Well, it's a different market with a different service and different products, but yes, I did.
Mm-hmm. So did you have any business competences at all that you've learned in a formal setting before you started venturing out into doing your own business?
Well, yeah, they teach you basic economic concepts in technical high school. And I took a lot of courses throughout my career, especially marketing and sales training. And I do have more than 10 years experience in managing national and international projects, which is the thing that is more valuable than any class I took because it's hands-on experience. Mm-hmm. You learn a lot out of it. Mm-hmm. And big corporations give you the chance to fail and learn from it.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. So you sort of had a semi-safe playground because working for someone else is never a totally safe playground. But so it sounds as if you had a lot of opportunity to try yourself in settings that were managed by other companies where you could basically get your own experiences, learn from your own failures, not at your expense. Is that correct?
Well, to some extent it is. You wouldn't call it like that if you're in the situation, but in your head you always know, okay, if I fail, somebody else is paying for it. And if they kick me out, I just knock on the next door and they'll be happy to have somebody around who knows the market, who knows the players in the market. So you can be quite fearless, which you should be as well when you start your own company. But the risk is definitely higher.
Okay. So you learned how to do business by trying yourself out in project management settings, in international projects. Were these projects from the same sphere as you're working in now?
Well, partly. As I told you before, I always worked in a sector of telecom, IT, did a lot of innovation projects. So to some extent, it correlates with what I am doing now. Or in other words, some aspects of that work are building the basis for what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm in a different market than IBM or Siemens or any other global player is, and I'm having a limited portfolio compared to those global players, but the economic concepts do not change. Technology is constantly evolving, but the concepts below, physics, for instance, does not change. So once you understand the basic concept, you can build upon, and that's something you learn by doing it, by gathering experience. Enough to realize, you can actually do it and do it for yourself, by yourself. Why not?
So how would you describe the major difference between someone like you who takes the risk to engage in an entrepreneurial experience versus someone who decides to stay with an employment situation in a corporation?
Well, the only difference is the mindset. It's a question of attitude. I don't see anything else. You need skills here and there, you need competences, you need to be able to play the game of politics. The only difference is the attitude to take chances and accept that there are risks along the way. Mm-hmm. Once you switch sides, you think, oh yeah, now I'm somebody special, Zarathustra or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah? But actually, it's pretty much the same. It's just accepting that there are chances, and if I try to take these chances, they come with risks.
Mm-hmm. Do you currently work with academics or universities in any of your professional settings?
I actually do. There is one project where one of the stakeholders is a university, and I'm the project manager there, and I can access experts from that university, and they actively contributing to the project. I can't go into details because it's a public sector project and highly confidential.
Yes, we understand that. But from your experience with working with such institutions, what do you think universities should teach their students now that would be useful to them, maybe something that they don't teach them at the moment, but where you would say, well, if students were to get this type of background, knowledge, experience, it would be very helpful for them in the job market?
Well, I think universities do teach for the job market. They teach skills, they teach competences, those are requirements by the companies already there. So the misconception is, when you look back a few seconds, I mentioned that entrepreneurship is about mindset and attitude. You have a twist in here because you can't teach attitude. Mm-hmm. So what universities could do is they could provide a platform for students to explore, to test their ideas, provide mentors, coaches, or bring in role models so that the students have the chance to develop that innovation mindset in a semi-safe space.
Yeah. And what do you think potential startups need dearly when they first think about founding a business?
Well, the first thing every startup or every founder should do is find their why. Go out and ask yourself a simple question. Why am I doing this? Or why am I planning to do this? Because once you have a clear purpose and can envision a positive outcome, you can set goals, derive a strategy, and try to elaborate ways to achieve these goals. And you can find the right people that help you along the way, and you can try to get funding and everything else you need. But you should start with a clear vision, with a purpose. Otherwise, you might mightily struggle.
I think you mentioned that you have been in business now with your current project, the Uli digital consultancy, for about 3 years, right?
Well, it's almost 5 now.
Okay.
But yeah, it took some time to learn how to do business. I knew the theory. I wanted to do it, so I just did. I mightily failed. Get back up on my feet, rearranged all the things that didn't work, found a new business model, and for about 3 years, I'm owning a profitable company now.
Don't mind me digging in old wounds, but can you talk a bit about your biggest setback? Was there a point in this development where you really were in deep doubt about your decision?
Well, not about the decision itself. I wanted to do it, I did it, I failed. This is, of course, a painful moment. When you realize that you are on the brink of bankruptcy, you don't smile a lot. But luckily, I get back on my feet. I was thinking about the things that are wrong, that led to that point, and what I could possibly change. If I would have blamed the market, I'd be bankrupt. So just get back to myself, say, okay, you have the skills, you have ideas, why didn't it work? What is in my scope of control? So I changed small things, a lot of small things. I gave myself a vision, found a purpose, I derived a strategy, and I executed. I'm still failing every day. Failing is okay. We learn out of it. But I'm not going bankrupt because I found a sustainable business model. And I learned to deal with risks, and it's basically working. It's a process of constant development or continual improvement, as they call it in the technical sphere.
So if I want to recap your advice or your guideline, you think you first need a purpose, a clear vision of what it is you want to do. Then you need a clear decision, yes, this is what I want to do. Then you need a lot of trying out how to best do it. And you need a lot of resilience for all the times that you fall, that you have setbacks, and that you need to, spend energy on getting back onto your feet and continuing, not where you're left off, but from the improved point of where you left off. Is that correct?
Well, it is, and thank you for adding resilience, because resilience is an important part, an important thing that every entrepreneur will have to learn and to apply onto himself and his company. And it has several aspects, from personal development to stability of the company, the financials, the technology. Without resilience, you'll be quickly off the market again. as soon as some factor changes. So resilience is key, but it doesn't mean that you have to know all that stuff when you start out. It is something that you can develop, and you will develop, and you will get better at things over time, just by executing things, analyzing what's okay, what's not okay, what could be better, what's to avoid, making better plans, and then again, execute those plans.
Now, let me take you back to the start of your entrepreneurship career. Did you have a point where you had an idea, a plan, but no money? And how did you find people who either believed in you and hired you or funded you? Did you have to use the 3 famous F, friends, families, and fools? Or was it a model that you started off with where you were immediately relying on customers?
Well, I had several ideas over the last 10 years, which didn't end up in working startups because the lack of funding. When it comes to my actual company, it was a mix of bootstrapping and starting out with the first customer. So even if it completely failed and I didn't realize at the right point and went out of business, it wouldn't cost me a fortune. Just me ego. But yeah, I know that funding projects is crucial for a lot of startups, especially if they have to do research and build prototypes. I see a lot of change going on here. There's a lot of money available right now. I think it's a good point to start out and seek for investors. I wouldn't completely rely on investors' money, but that's my thing. I'm quite a conservative businessman, but I understand that you need to use external funds from time to time, especially if you're trying to fund development projects.
So, word of advice to my colleagues who are working in academia or in publicly funded projects, how do they recognize that they have the capability of becoming self-employed?
Well, they should already know this. The question is, do they want this? They obviously do have the skill. They are teaching the underlying concepts. Question is, do they see chances? Do they have a purpose for starting a company? Can they envision a positive outcome of their action? And are they willing to take the risk? It's simple questions to ask yourself. And if the answer to this question is no, it's totally okay. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. And not everybody has to be. Okay, bad weather out there?
Sounds like bad weather out there, yes, but I'm afraid it's just an alarm clock. But I'm sure that our technician, Alexander, will be able to cut that part out later on. Maybe he wants to come out and stop the alarm clock. Thank you.
Yeah, flexibility
Yeah.
is another thing that comes in handy.
Yes, dealing with issues as they pop up right away, be creative, finding solutions.
A lot of things don't turn out as you have planned them. That's why I'm usually talking about risk management. So totally fine with that.
Yes.
Good solution.
Good solution, yes. When I work with students and I work with them on certain classes that contain elements where we discuss entrepreneurship, my students very often have the sentiment that they need to come up with a terribly unique idea in order to become an entrepreneur. What would you tell my students?
I would tell them to calm down. If you come up with something totally disruptive, you will most probably fail, because we do know that innovation doesn't work that way. You could come up with a totally different technology for TV sets. Nobody will buy it. People like to take small steps. Markets like to take small steps. So when talking about innovation, we don't need those big bang changes. We need a vision of how it could be, and then we need to find a way how to get there in reasonable chunks. And if you start out small, you will realize that it's actually achievable even if you don't have this huge experience and don't know everything. And so you start out by setting small goals, achieving the first one and the second one, and then your goals get bigger and you get more skilled, and you find the right people to work with, and someday you will achieve what you envisioned before you started. But it's not a big bang thing. You can't say, oh yeah, I'm so clever, I change everything but I can't do this because I don't have funding.
Now you're working in the field of digitalization and digital consultancy. Where do you currently see challenges universities should overcome if they want to promote entrepreneurship in your field?
Well, it's not about engineers, or at least I don't think it's about engineers. And within the field of digitalization, you don't find mere engineers. You have all kinds of people working in that field, because it's not a pure technical field. But when I look back at the challenges universities face, I guess it's a political thing. I have to be careful right now, because I think the problem is in the thing that universities are tasked with. If you follow the political debate, you get the impression that the goal of universities is to produce a very high number of graduates with the same standardized skill set. And this interferes with the innovation mindset, because I guess you will not get innovation out of doing more of the same. Mm-hmm. So as long as universities are ordered to act like schools, teach specific skill sets to a high number of people in a very short time, they cannot utilize their full potential. So whoever is funding a university should think about the strategy and the approach of the university. So we had the question before, what do universities need to do to teach entrepreneurship? And we found out you can't teach it, because it's a mindset thing. So but if you have funds available to provide platforms that foster innovation and developing an innovation mindset, you could succeed. There's no guarantees, but from a strategic point of view, just teaching is the worst option.
Do you think that university structures lend themselves to responding to market demands?
To some extent, universities are even creating markets. So this is a complex field. Wherever universities are engaged into research, they help developing innovation. They help preparing markets. They help to change environments. So you are already in there. If you look back to the Humboldt concept, where university was there, and if you had the intrinsic motivation to get out the most of it, you could. So I think the potential is already there. a lot of universities are already actively engaged in this change process that's happening everywhere all the time. But on the other hand, universities just teach, and if you bring those fields together, you have a huge chance, an enormous chance to foster change.
So turn universities into places where business meets academia, where teaching meets free space for trying things out, where students can have a framework in which they explore what it is my colleagues are teaching in a real life setting, be it in an internship or be it within the framework of project work within the universities, would foster a more entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And there are role models out there. When we're talking about digitalization or technology at all, everybody's aware of the MIT. What does the MIT do? They teach. You can go there, take classes from very simple one, the entry level, up to your PhD. That's okay. But they also do a lot of research. They have startup boot camps available. They enforce collaboration between students. They have partnerships with other universities. So I was talking about role models before. I think you shouldn't copy what they are doing, but you should look at what they are doing, find out what's working, and adapt it. Again, no big bang change, but step by step should work.
So for universities to become an environment where entrepreneurship is fostered, the university organization needs to first adopt a more entrepreneurial mindset itself.
Well, that might be correct, yeah. But it's not. The university has to do all the work. It's the biggest chunk is upon the students, because if you don't have the motivation or you're not self-motivated to learn something, you're just sitting down in the class and I'll say, okay, teacher is telling me something, I don't care, I just need to pass the exam and then I'm out. It will not work. Mm-hmm. But if you go in there and say, oh yeah, this is a smart guy, he did this and that, and he's a researcher in that field, I can learn a lot of him, I will ask him a lot of specific questions, then the student will get a lot out of it and will find himself in the middle of developing this innovation mindset. So it's about universities, but even more about students and their mindset and their approach to education. We tend to look at education as a top-down process. We taught that from primary school on. But I think that's not the way it should be, or at least at some level, you need to find out what you want to do, and then you need to actively engage into the actions that are performed in that field. I just would say, yeah, you have to grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and if academics are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, they may have to leave the safety net of the university and dive into take the plunge into entrepreneurship, and then maybe come back in a slightly altered form where they can teach younger people not just how to do certain things, but how it's done to become an entrepreneur, how it's done to be innovative. Would you agree with that?
Well, actually, yes, but I would use different words. Psychology tells us that leaving something or giving up on something doesn't work. Like, you ever tried to quit smoking?
Never smoked.
I did, several times, still smoking. I can't give up. And you can't give up anything. So I think what you're talking about is comfort zone. You can't just step out of your comfort zone. I know there's a lot of people out there who's telling you to do that, but it will not work. What will work is to extend your comfort zone. You can't jump out, say, okay, I'm there, everything is fine. But you can say, okay, I try a small step. I've done another small step and another one, and then you suddenly realize that your comfort zone is growing. And then you became more flexible and are able to do more things, and you will gain a lot of experience, you will connect things in your brain, you will make new friends, you will meet new people with other ideas, you can collaborate with them and develop your own vision. So it's about like extending your skill set, it's also about extending your comfort zone. You can't give up comfort, it will not work.
Well, Andreas, thank you very much for having been with us today. The audience might be left with some questions for you, and I thank you also for answering any questions that pop up. We will continue our series on entrepreneurship interviews with other guests from other countries, and hope that you enjoy this series and take it as your moment of inspiration to extend your comfort zone, to take it one step further, and maybe get a little bit of different mindset in terms of how you approach your job as a university professor, as a teacher, as a project manager. And have you got any other last word of advice for my colleagues?
Well, I don't think that I'm here to give advice. Just sharing my personal experience, and I'd be happy if at least one person listening will find a little bit of wisdom to adopt for themselves. So if there are any questions, I'm happily willing to answer them. So just bring them on. We can talk about it. We can talk about ideas and concepts, and I hope I can help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, so I hope that you was hearing the video very well. Yeah, actually, I wrote some points that can summarize the talk. If you can, one of the core mission here as well in our workshop is to try to give a message for our academics in general at our 5 universities that Europe need us not as only to teach, not as a teachers at university, but they give us like a green light to start our business. So this is a side message here. It's not the main message, but it's a side message that this guy was an academic at 20 years ago or so, and then he moved from academic field to start his business in digitalization. So one of his messages that we as academic has a lot of ideas. We are working with PhD, we're working with master students, we teach them how to think outside the box. So we have a lot of ideas. So maybe one of you will find one of these ideas like a concept idea for a business. But this is, as I said, this is like sort of side idea or side message from this interview. However, this guy also highlight few things related to the teaching. So he said that innovation is not something we can teach, it's sort of something mindset. So we need to train our students to be innovative students. And also he said it's difficult to train them without putting them in real examples. So he always say that we need a platform. If you have fund at your university, you can establish a platform that train students. They can have like scholarship at a business sector, to understand, to be in contact with the business sector. Also, he said that, of course, university has a problem, and I don't know if you agree on that or not, but he said that university has a problem that it's linked somehow to political decision. You have some target per year, so Edinburgh University, for example, should produce students this year with this number. And he said, if he just said university is to produce a very high number of the same skill students. So all the students have the same skills, all of the students have the same courses, and they go to the market. So this is one of the challenges that this guy see. So I don't know if you agree or disagree, or maybe we can open this discussion or this interview for debate and discussion between us. But first of all, before we start, I can see we have Mahmoud and we have Sakris. So maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Scarlett. I am from the University of Edinburgh in the School of Mathematics, but I used to work or study also in the business school. So it's kind of like a hybrid set mining here.
Cool. Mahmoud. You are muted, Mahmoud. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay, Mahmoud, I think has a problem in his microphone. Okay, no problem. So you are from where, Mahmoud? You are from Edinburgh as well, or from where? Okay, from Edinburgh. Yep. Good to see that most of the people who are will attend this workshop are from Edinburgh. Actually, this is great. Yep. So maybe we can discuss a bit about this. So what do you think about the idea that Andreas tried to give to us? Thanks, Mahmoud. Yes. So
Well,
do you agree or disagree with him, or you have different ideas?
I totally agree on that, although I don't think we all have to be into entrepreneurship, right? But I do agree about the innovation part. There is always good to foster students to kind of have this idea about like what they would like to have, other than just kind of trying to find a job. And also, I think we are lacking for training them to go into the business market. They don't really know what are the skills. Like all the time, students are asking me, "What language should I learn?" I always say like go for the free one, but then to be honest, in business, they also use like SAS, MATLAB, which are not for free. We are not teaching some of those. It is very specific about disciplines, but we are just kind of narrowing our students to kind of learn something that we consider is specific for that kind of course, other than for the kind of business that they might go into.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I can see that we as academic, we are looking from our point of view, based on our point of view. So we teach students what we are looking for, but we didn't teach them what the business needs. So this is why we are here. We are here just to try to discuss, try to find like the barriers to do so, and then try to find a way to solve this problem. And maybe you was not attending the first part of the workshop, the introduction part, but I told to our colleagues here that the previous two workshops, which started early this year, ended by a small proposal to Erasmus Plus, and this proposal actually aimed to do design multidisciplinary courses where the core engine of these courses is the business sector and society. So the idea of this, it's called Inspiring the Mind project. And in this project, actually, we don't develop courses ideas by ourselves. We invite business, we invite NGO, which is active in the Green Deal, environmental things, reducing CO2 and so on, and try to ask them what's the topic and what's the objective that they need if we would like to design a new course. What's the skills that are missing from our students? And the business and the NGO, of course, this project will start next month, but the business and the NGO will highlight the point that is missing. And we as academic, we will try to cover this point, try to design a course, which is the objective of this course is designed and highlighted by the end user, which is the business and the NGO and society in general. So I completely agree with you that I think it's a problem that we are teaching our students what we are looking for, what we think it's need, but it's just our point of view. And completely it's different than the business or the market.
Right. I think we also, last semester, I started this new project called OR Challenge for all the universities in the UK. It's about operational research. And one of the main ideas of this course is that operational research is pretty much everywhere. It's like mathematics, like the application of mathematics. However, there are very few courses that they don't have OR in the undergrad students. So the students start to know about that when they are into the master situation, right? Not all the students go for a master. So I wonder if we also need to introduce some, even just more than a course, like a whole program about that. Because yeah, the students are not exposed to that. So in this kind of challenge, what we are trying to do is get into in contact with a industry partnership. And so we ask them about a problem that they will have, and then ask the students to answer that with the specific tools that we are required. So in this case, that will be OR. But yeah, this kind of looks in the same line that what you're selling, right? Like ask out there, what do they need? And then what can we adapt to the academia?
Yes, exactly. Yes. This is as you said, yeah, please, Debbie.
I think, well, just really to touch on that, I mean, it's actually a bit of a, excuse me, a little bit of a balancing act, because obviously as academics, we have a skill set, we have employers, but we also have expectations from the students about what they believe they're going to be learning as part of a business degree. So it's really actually engaging with everybody and understanding, you know, because we don't have time, we don't have, we can't teach everything,
Yes.
you know, so it's really that balancing out. And obviously at the end of the day, you know, we want the students to go with a certain skill set, but we also want them to enjoy their experience. We want them to take ownership of their own learning experience, etc., etc. So it really is, and I think the more we kind of look into it, you know, the more difficult it actually becomes. So a lot of it is stakeholder engagement and getting that feedback from people. Apologies, that's my dog in the background. He's
yeah, I think this is one of the challenges, that we have a mission and we have little time. In general, you have maybe 8 months per year in order to teach something for the students. So we need to, as you said, we need to find a balance somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also that is, at the end of the day, we want them to take ownership of their own learning, their own ability to learn. So we don't just want to give them information. We want them to go into the workplace with current skills, but we also want to teach them how to update those skills themselves. and take ownership of that. So again, you know, it's not just something said within the business school, it's not just business skills that we're teaching, you know, so a huge part of our course is actually, you know, sort of
mindset.
Absolutely,
Sort of mindset,
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Actually, Mahmoud sent a message, said that I completely agree with you, and he said that there is a lot of things that we couldn't or we couldn't gain by teaching. So as you said, like mindset, things like this, it's difficult to give the students its skills. It's something the student get with real example in real life situation. And actually, this was highlighted by Andreas in his talk, that university have skills or teach students some skills, some basic knowledge, but if we have enough fund, we can create a platform where the student can test their ideas. So maybe this is the next step. We need to give the student some time or some courses that the student will go to the business sector, try to test something and get some experience. And they will get credit out of this experience, even if they fail, because, you know, failing is also something or a way to get experience. So
but that is something they will get from an internship, isn't it?
yes, it can, yeah. But I don't know if we have enough internship or scholarship that provided by business sector to all of our students. I don't think so. So
yeah, now I mean there are different kind of outlooks to support this way, you know, that are coming out. Like in Edinburgh, when I moved in, it was data-driven innovation initiative. They set up DDI along with local government and industrial partners on a large scale for all the schools, that would encourage not just the teaching faculty, but also maybe senior students, just about to complete their degrees, you know, to get involved in different centers were set up with the huge funding that came through. And this is all about looking at huge amounts of data and how entrepreneurship ideas can come out of it. So yeah, universities are now taking it in a big way, at least the universities that have the huge base as well as infrastructure. So I think now it is everywhere, as I see in UK and even in developing countries, they are looking at handing over you know, the mantle to people with ideas, so that they can in turn you know, support other people and bring them in, maybe from the third year or fourth year students, or in a master's course. There are these kind of side trainings going on in universities. So that's what I feel I have observed here.
yeah. But I have a question for you. You said also in developing country. This is a side question, is not mainly to the core of the discussion. But do you think in India also there is this model is active there somehow?
Yeah,
Or in developing country in general?
yes. So I've seen in India, I have seen in some African countries as well. So in India, the present government is giving this high impetus that you know, it doesn't matter if you have degrees or if you have come out of universities, but if you have an idea, you pitch it and we will support it. So they are creating different groups of these kind of environments where industrial bigwigs, the pioneers in industrial fields, they are coming together with the education or the research heads, and they are trying to pick up students in a huge number so that they can form ideas, they can launch. So the startup industries, so to say, it has become a business of creating startups from the government, from the wider industrial sector. So yeah, I think it is going to stay there for some years now, and hopefully it will create some kind of an environment where this becomes a kind of generational thing for the next generation to pick up.
Yeah, I ask this because I am originally from Egypt, and I think in Egypt, the education system, the higher education system is far away behind this. So this is why I
Yeah,
ask
they are
if in
taking
developing country as well has
yeah, they are
this
taking the
mechanism.
education out of it. Yeah, they are not letting it be driven by the education sector, but
Okay.
they are just bringing in the industrial founders who have gone through this, and they have formed kind of big setups where the industry can drive this forward with money from the government directly, and
Okay.
also industrial contribution. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are, but I think the problem is that the people who goes into that kind of environments or reach the people is the people that is proactive, and we have very few in each classroom, right, or in each generation, and it's also very targeting to the business schools. I think, I mean, yeah, in the University of Edinburgh, we have like business incubators. In Mexico, where I'm from, all the private schools have business incubators, but it's just very targeting to business school. If they need someone else from a different school, they would invite it personally. But it's not like for example, in this case, the School of Mathematics, it has an own business incubator. So I think, and the name of this workshop is quite nice because it's multidisciplinary, right?
Yes.
So that's where we want to kind of connect different disciplinary business school with School of Mathematics, with School of Engineering, or something like that. So we can, and then also the question is like, when do we need to start planting this setup, this mindset? Because we are just letting students go until when they are in the last year or so. In the business school, they start when they are in semester 1, year 1. So when do we need to start doing this?
Actually, Mahmoud has sent a comment that there is no enough money to fund to do any. So I think he just say there is no enough money to fund most of our students. So yeah, but I completely agree with you that this missing communication between different faculty, between, for example, business school and mathematics department, this I think is a challenge to design such a program. Yeah, DB, please.
Go on mute. So just to pick up on that last comment though, about when do we start teaching that? So let's just agree that entrepreneurship is a mindset. I have theories on that, but let's just for the sake of today agree that it is a mindset. When do we start teaching it? Just to put this out there, because obviously, we've got maths and informatics. Is there an appetite to start teaching that sort of pre-honors first and second year? Is that something that your particular schools would be interested in?
Well, I'm not sure if the schools, but the students, I have 20 PTs, and then I would probably say 5 of them or 6 of them have picked selected courses from the business school.
Okay.
So they are interested on that. I'm not sure about the School of Mathematics, but we have done some multidisciplinary challenges as well with the business school, but in the master level. So there is an interest there.
Not at the bachelor level.
Yeah, not at the bachelor level.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good to know.
Yeah. Also, this guy Andreas highlight a point. He said that university need to meet business, like invite business people to come to us, discuss with them their needs, and maybe start programs with them for scholarship or internship or things like this. So do you have such a program in Edinburgh, or disagree, or you agree with this idea?
We do have our master students can do a dissertation with industry.
Okay.
So they work shoulder by shoulder 3 months, And then we have had cases where they have been hired by the companies. But of course, not all our students have this opportunity, just few of them, because we don't have a lot of companies that want to work, because it's kind of like hard work, like you have to give information, have meetings with the students and so on. But then I think once they have this experience, we have companies coming back for next year to
invite another students.
Yeah, because our students are quite good, right? I mean, we're one of the best universities in the world, so we have one of the best students in the world as well. So they have a good work doing there. But unfortunately, we don't have enough companies that want to work with that, because they don't really know what would be the experience.
So you highlight here that we need to outreach the business sector to tell them we are here to help you, in order to get them in, try to supervise our students, or to try to give them internship or things like this.
Yeah, and actually I think it's also a matter of how the academic get in touch with the industry. Like 4 years ago, there was a company and I started getting there. I was going to the offices every week to have like more formal discussions about the project and so on. I didn't even have to, right? Because I'm just supervising the student. But I guess so the student can also get involved, the company can also get involved, feel more compromised about with the school. And from this relationship we have had, now this year we have 5 students working in different projects with this company when we started with one.
So you succeeded to build the trust relationship with this company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they are willing to do seminars and these kind of things, because they have seen the opportunity also to kind of say to the students, hey, we are here, we are doing this, would you like to work with us, right? Even though they don't have that much of opportunities, because of course like a normal company, but yeah, I think it's also kind of like an advertisement in both sides from this experience.
Yeah, actually I have two question or two comments for that. First of all, did you see change in the attitude of the students? So the students who are going to such master program with business, or such internship with business sector, do they have different attitude, different behavior than the students that who just close at the university, working just at the university?
Not sure about the difference between the students, but the same student, from when he start doing this and giving presentations, is a totally different one when he did the final presentation or so. Because now he's not shy of asking things. He's not shy of doing this kind of discussions. And so it's not the same thing like when they are doing the first presentation, it's all about mathematics, right? Not all business people has mathematics background. So at the end of these 3 months, when we have this final presentation that is also not compulsory, I asked that so they can feel more, and they can share with the team of the company. They totally change the way they are presenting this idea. It's more about business focus, about goals, about results.
So there is a change in the mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just 3 months.
From pure academia to something related to the market.
Yeah.
And my second comment, or my second question, I think this will be one of the challenges to design multidisciplinary courses between different faculty or different things, and we can discuss this today or tomorrow. But how these students who are going to study their master outside the university, how they can get credit? If they take courses outside the university with the business sector, so are the business sector can give them credit, or how it works?
No, I think they don't give credit. I mean, the company don't give credit to the students, but at least in the undergrad, they can take courses from different schools, even psychology or business. So they are free to take these kind of courses. Of course, not all the students have that, because we we don't tell them directly. Yeah, I mean, I am from the business school, so whenever we talk about courses, I tell them what is your interest, and then I might be leading them to this kind of part. But I don't think all the students have the same conversations with the personal tutor. But yeah, definitely courses are available for the students to take. So we don't necessarily have to even put one specific for our school. But that would be nice, because then they will have a connect that in a way.
Yep. Debbie, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I was just saying we do have something called the SLIC model, which is so traditionally we have courses that are sort of 10 credits, 15 credits, 20 credits, and they're taught within the 2 semesters. But we do have something called the SLIC model. I haven't been too involved with this, but I am aware that there's something
SLIC model?
Yes.
Okay.
So if my understanding, and this is something that I will go and have a look at now, but my understanding is that if it's not delivered in the traditional manner, maybe if it is with more sort of industry engagement, online, etc., then students still can get credits through that model, through that vehicle. So that potentially could be an option for designing a course as well.
Because we have a student course in the Cloud Earth Eye project, and we was struggling a bit to get credit for this course from different universities, including Edinburgh. So finally our project manager in Edinburgh succeeded to speak to people at the university, and I think we will, from this semester, we will get some credit for our students. But I think this is one of the challenges that facing designing multidisciplinary courses, especially across different universities. So if there is a course that was teaching by a professor here at Tromsø University for students in Edinburgh, it's a bit difficult to get credit for that course.
It is, and I think you have to have somebody within the university that takes ownership of it as well.
Yeah.
Which, if it's something that they've not necessarily developed, it can be quite difficult, I think.
Yeah. So this is one of the challenges that we need to find a way for it. And also there is something other, which is the fund for the course. It's here, for example, in Norway. If the course is developed at this school, the school gets some money from the university to develop the course. But what if you design a multidisciplinary courses between 2 different schools? For example, business school and mathematical school. Who will get the fund? Who will get the money from the university? So I think this is also a bit that we need to discuss, or we need to find a way to solve.
What's the name of this funding again, you said?
Sorry?
What is the name of that funding?
No, this is in general. So here, for example, if you develop a course and you ask the dean of the faculty, I think you will get some money for that, like in terms of working hour and support from the faculty itself. And I think it's the same at your university as well, somehow. So if we say, for example, and also here in Tromsø, this fund is also based on the number of the students. So if your course has a few number of students, you will get a little support. If your course get a lot of number of students, you get more support from the university, things like this. So for example, so the question now, if you have multiple courses between 2 institutes, who will get the full fund or the fund? So this is, yeah, good. So maybe we can move for the next one. I think this is will be a short welcome message or so. Actually, I should start this because this is by Edinburgh. It's an interview with from your university, and it's sort of something like 10 minutes or so. And then we can either discuss it later after that, or we can have a break, as you like. And actually, this welcome message or this short interview covers the second leg of the project. So the first leg is mainly the relation between the academia and business, and the second leg is the role of the academic sector or the university to help our society to move more toward greener environment, more sustainable society. Yeah. So maybe I can share my screen, and please, you can just drop me a message because I can't see you anymore. You can just drop me a message if there is any problem with the audio or so.
Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the Cloud Earth Eye programme. I'm Lucy Stanfield Jenner, and I work on circular economy at the University of Edinburgh. And I'm here with Dave Gorman, who's Director for Social Responsibility and Sustainability. And welcome to the course. So Dave, can you tell me a few words about your role at the university and what the University of Edinburgh is doing around sustainability and climate change?
Sure, thanks, Lucy. So I'm Director for Social Responsibility and Sustainability at the University, as you said. My job and that of the team is to help the university deliver on its commitment to have a positive social impact and to be socially responsible and sustainable. So that covers quite a wide range of things, from how we manage our own direct emissions from our buildings and from our travel, through to what we buy and what we invest in, and also onto broader issues like human rights in the supply chain. So quite a wide range of things that we work on. We're committed to be a net zero university and to embed this across everything we do. So we want to make sure that we get to net zero and we stay there. We also want to make sure in what we teach that our students are getting full exposure to climate change issues and to global ethics and the meaning of sustainability. And we also want to make sure that the research that we do is focused on climate change and the solutions that we need to become sustainable. So that's what we do.
Fantastic. And can you say in a few words what sustainable development means to you?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of people will fall back on a definition from the 1980s from the Brundtland Commission. So you'll hear sustainability and sustainable development talked about as development that meets the needs of today's generations whilst allowing future generations to meet their needs. And that's fine as far as it goes. I think what we've learned throughout down the years that I've been involved in this is, first of all, we need to think about nature, and we need to put our economy and our society within the natural limits that we know that the Earth has. So there's a limit to how much nitrogen we can put into water, for example. There's a limit on climate emissions, as we know. So we need to think about those natural limits. And the other thing I think we need to think about much more is fairness. So we need to think across generations and between generations. We know that climate change is a climate justice issue, with the people who haven't emitted much carbon the ones who are facing the biggest impacts. And we know it's a fairness issue through time, that my generation has used up too much of the natural capacity of the planet, and your generation is ones that are having to pick up the tab. And so for me, it's running our society and our economy within these well understood environmental limits and doing it in a way that's fair.
And building on that idea of using up our natural resources, can you tell me a bit about what you see the role of a circular economy playing in tackling climate change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think climate change is one of the most pressing issues we face, along with our loss of nature. And I think circular economy is one of the keys to unlock the puzzle. I really do. And the reason I say that is that much of the problems that we're causing in nature, we're facing a nature crisis where nature is disappearing so quickly, and our ecosystems are unraveling before our eyes. Now, why is that? It's partly because we're emitting too much carbon. And we know that if we move to a circular economy, we can close the loops. We can reduce the amount of carbon that's being emitted by having more efficient processes and so on. But it's also because nature is disappearing because we're using too much land and we're not giving nature enough space. It's as simple as that. And why are we using too much land and not giving nature enough space? Because we have a linear economy. Because we produce something, we use it for a few days and then we throw it away. And we design things to be disposable, we design things to be hazardous. And I think if we can move to a circular economy, we'll be able to greatly reduce the amount of pressures on nature because we'll be reducing the amount of resources that we're using. And so I think circular economy is really, really important. And the other question I would add, which is relevant for the course, I think, is that my generation has spent this time trying to show that we've got a problem here. But now we need to move to solutions. We need to move to long-term sustainable solutions, and circular economy is a fantastic opportunity to do that. It's a brilliant opportunity for nature and for climate, but it's a brilliant economic opportunity as well. So I think circular economy is absolutely key to a sustainable, climate-friendly future.
And just finally, can you say anything about what you think the role of businesses and entrepreneurs is in helping to create that circular economy?
Absolutely. I'm just building on that last point. So if we think that circular economy is the key, then who's going to design that key? Well, it's going to be entrepreneurs and businesses. We need to move from talking about circular economy, which we have been doing, and that's great. We have greater awareness, to finding new business models and to design out hazardous materials and to design products that can be upgradable. You know, we need to move away from phones that you buy and recycle to phones that you just swap out the elements of the phone that you need. We need to move to new ways of doing fashion that aren't so environmentally destructive, and so on. And I really see that new business models, innovation, better design, and entrepreneurship are the key to that. So again, I think if circular economy is the key to a sustainable future, business and entrepreneurship is the key to circular economy.
Thanks very much, Dave. That's all my questions. So in this course, students will have an opportunity to learn more about the things that we've discussed today and the role that they can take in helping to create a circular and net zero economy. So thanks again, Dave, and I hope you enjoy the course.
Thank you.
Well, so Dave actually in this part try to cover the second part or the second leg of the project, which is mainly related to the business or circular economy and how the business can help in this, how the academia can help in to move more toward more green society and less zero emission or less carbon emission society. Well, do you think we need to take like a 10-minute break and we come back, or would you like to discuss the last presentation or last discussion? Okay, did we ask for 10 minutes? Okay, so maybe you can come back at quarter to 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock at UK time. Okay, so 10 minutes. Enjoy the coffee. Hello, everyone.
It's very hot in here. I escaped the coffee and went for water right
Okay.
away.
What's the temperature?
22, I guess.
Okay, this is good.
But for here, it's way too high.
Yeah. You know, we are living in Tromsø, which is extreme north. Now we are 11 degrees and it's raining. So it's, but we still have some summer. You are originally from
Mexico.
Mexico, okay. But you are living since long time in Edinburgh and UK?
Yeah, 8 years now.
8 years, okay.
Yeah, I did my PhD here.
Okay. In Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the business school, actually.
Business school, okay. But you are teach mathematics, right?
Yeah.
I like mathematics.
Yeah. In which school are you now?
I am now at the fishery school, fishery and biology school, but I am geologist. So
Okay.
I am my specialist is thermodynamics. So I study thermodynamics and try to understand the rocks using thermodynamics.
Yeah, definitely mathematics.
Yeah, definitely mathematics.
Good. Actually, it's quite nice because in the business school we have also OR. So just like the transition between, schools.
Okay.
Yeah, just about, of course, in School of Mathematics is more technical and in the business school is more applied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have a regular meeting with different group in order to sort of exchange knowledge or update yourself? Because you said now you have things that more applied, things more academic or more basic science.
Yeah, well, we have been doing some things with the business school, but the plan is that to do something about that multidisciplinary course or, like exercises or things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so there is motion somehow, or there is an active action from the business school to design these multidisciplinary courses.
No, not really. Actually, I think I'm going to be the one who have to start this motion.
Okay. Yep. This is great. I think this is great. Yeah. So maybe we can start the second part or so. So now, just before the break, we had this Dave interview. Dave is the head of the sustainability department in, I think, Edinburgh Innovation. And he reflects mainly about the environment and how we can contribute to the environment and so on. And I think now I can comment on DB comment about that. We have task here at university and we need to teach students some skills. And when I think about multidisciplinary courses, I don't think we need to cover everything. So we don't need to give the student, for example, if we teach them mathematics and business, we don't need to give them a lot of business, a lot of mathematics, but we need to give them like a shallow layer from both. And then you can have another course that gives the students more detail about mathematics or more detail about business. But at least the students or our students, when they are graduate or before they graduate from the university, they should have basic knowledge from everything. Not everything that cover everything, but everything within the topic, like business, innovation, mathematics, big data, environmental things. So things like this. So this is my idea, that I don't think we are able to design a real cross-disciplinary courses because it will be like a big task, but sort of a layer that gives the students like basic concepts, because as you will see one of our interview maybe tomorrow, the person who I interviewed, him or her, was reflecting about a discussion between two different schools, the geology school and the law school. And she came that even the professor at the university, they speak different language. When you come to discuss something, they like not misconcept, but they use different words that reflect or indicate different concepts, or same word indicate different concepts, things like this. So we need to teach our students the basics. So I don't know if you agree with me or you have an idea that we should give them like in deep courses, or what do you think about this?
Oh, sorry. I think usually I'll give them a glossary of terms, and if I'm teaching business to science and engineering students, I will kind of assume no prior knowledge, but I do move quite quickly because we have to meet the learning outcomes. So what I'll tend to do is signpost them to additional materials. So say, for instance, if we're covering a new venture creation journey and there's a financial element to that, lots of science students, it's not familiar, and we only have so much time in class. So I'll signpost them to additional things, additional reading. We have something called Xerti workbooks, which are kind of like mini websites. So again, I can put materials in there as well, but we do spend a lot of time, I'll give them a glossary, we will go over the terms. So we've all got a platform to then kind of move forward together with.
Okay, but you would like to go for more detailed course, business course for the science students.
Yes. So I mean, it's if we're teaching business to science students, we will kind of assume no business knowledge. But it's like scaffolding. We'll give them tools and things that they can use, to kind of help them on that journey, if that makes sense. Because we do have to move quite quickly. But glossary teaching glossary, teaching terms is one of the things that we will do. We'll just spend a little bit of time just making sure that everybody is using the same language, so that when they work in groups and things like that, it's helpful.
Each one can understand each other. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. You have something to add? Yeah, Scarlett?
Yeah, I had an experience actually with a course there was a software called Visual Studio, and then we wanted to also offer that to people from finance, and then what we did is, the main tool was the software, and then we tried to do the application of finance and then OR. So we kind of gave the main elements of finance in the half of the semester, and then the application with the software, and then the main elements OR, and then the application of the software. I guess the problem there, but one advantage is that people from OR could learn about finance, and people from finance could learn about OR. But then at the end, we had a project that we did like multidisciplinary, so we kind of mix finance with OR. But you have some students from IT as well, which were more of an expert in the software as such, and you could see the grades or the quality of the projects in a way that the application was quite good, but if they didn't have enough of IT, then it was not so good. And then on the other hand, if we have too much of IT and the application was quite bad, so then I'm just wondering, is the course of the multidisciplinary course should be regarding to a specific target of students, or make a course that is multidisciplinary for multidisciplinary students, you know what I mean? So what we did in here was for multidisciplinary students, a multidisciplinary course, but then I guess we kind of encounter with problems at the final project, and some disadvantages from each part of the project as well. So when I was thinking now about multidisciplinary courses is more about the application of the specific, in this case, mathematics or science within different areas. So you have already the main idea of what tools you want to use, and then different applications. It can be business, can be science, can be marketing, can be finance. So I don't know if that will work.
Yeah, I think you touch an important point or a challenge as well, because if you would like to design multidisciplinary courses for multidisciplinary students, each student come with different background. So people who are strong in mathematics, people who are strong in business. So you need to give them knowledge that makes them almost similar, like the same setting for everyone, and from this setting you start your course. So I think this is also one of the challenge, and maybe this will bring us that maybe multidisciplinary courses not at the master level, it should start at the early year at the university. So if we assume that students that just coming from the secondary school who has the same knowledge, and then you start to give them different multidisciplinary courses, I think when they reach to level of master degree or so, they will have enough knowledge to start this in deep courses.
Yeah, and I guess that also helped for them to kind of have like a spark of what is something, right?
Yes.
So, and then maybe that can be also helpful for them to find the right master for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Good. We have a new colleague here, Sarwat. Sarwat, you are hearing us? Yeah. Do you think you can introduce yourself to our colleagues? The sound is not good, Sarwat.
So my name is Sarwat Hassan. I'm a PhD student at University of Nottingham School of Chemistry. I'm writing upstage. You can hear me?
Yes, there is a bit background, but you can repeat it again, please.
Probably there's a problem with the net connection. My name is Sarwat Hassan. I'm a PhD student at University of Nottingham School of Chemistry, and I'm in writing upstage now.
Yep. Thanks for Sarwat.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. So anyone has an idea or comment on the two previous interviews, especially the one about the environmental things? Okay.
Well,
so yeah.
Yeah, so I think the School of Mathematics is doing things, well, I think in general the University of Edinburgh are doing things to help in the environment, but from the academic perspective. So like our lunches are now vegetarians. We are trying to avoid traveling by plane. So we use the train instead, and things like that.
But this is the rules, working rules for the school or for the university, not to teach the students.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just wonder if we do something for the students. I mean, the business school has a very active role in research about that, also the sustainability part. But I don't think that's spread among all the schools in the university. Although,
Yep.
yeah, we do have kind of energy saving projects in the School of Mathematics. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that they are. Yeah.
Yep. Because I think this is important. This is one of the challenges that we all the world is facing is a change in the climate and environmental things and so on. And we need to move very quickly to cover it. And, you know, at different level, like the university should put rules on the academic and the students that if you would like to travel for a conference, try to use low carbon flights, for example, or train instead of flight and so on. But also to teach the next generation, the students, that there is a risk here. There is a problem related to the environment, and we need to be more friendly to the environment. So I think this is one of the things that we need to cover in our courses. And I think all the students at the university should take such awareness message in term of course or term of training or workshops also. Because, you know, this is not related to, for example, students who are studying environment, but this is everyone contribute to this environmental change or climate change. So we need to teach all the students, to teach our society that there is a need to move forward to keep our environment more green. Yep. So maybe we can go for one talk more. I think this will take sort of almost an hour, maybe a bit less than an hour, and then we can follow with a discussion. And maybe we can conclude the day or the today after this discussion. So we still need 1 hour more to finish the day, and then I will send you the link. I will share it with you now just to see. You see here, this is a content of the course. Actually, this is a course or the workshop for November course or November workshop, but it's the same content as we have now. So we go through some of this interview, not all of them, but tomorrow we will go for some other. And of course, you have time tonight and tomorrow and to go through the other interviews. But if you agree with me, I just will go for this, for one of these interviews that will take 1 hour. It's actually not an interview, it's a talk. And it's a talk. The aim of this talk, actually, it's two aims from this talk. First one, to give you an example how the system in USA is working. So the guy who will give us this talk is from the state. So he will reflect how the systems there, how the universities there are working. And also he will inspire our mind how we as academic, we need to think outside the box in order to inspire ourselves, maybe to establish a business for ourselves, and also to inspire our students to think outside the box. Of course, not all of our students will be business people, businessmen or businesswomen, but at least if there is someone of them who has this mindset, we need to inspire them in order to give them the right way to go. So you will agree with me to share this presentation, and then we follow up with maybe 10-20 minute discussion, and we will conclude the day after that. And please, because I can't see you anymore, just give me any hint. For example, write me in the chat box if you didn't hear well or if there is any technical problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tamer, and thank you everybody for inviting me. It's an honor to be among you today. So the topic I will be covering today is from the bench to a startup.
So you're hearing well?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I will share again and then.
So the goal today is just to give you a snapshot about the first part's about the mindset of, you know, when you can spin off a startup, maybe with one of your students as a professor, or you yourself spin off this startup from your own research or some other topic. And in the second part, I'm going to highlight, as Dr. Tamer mentioned, efforts that we have at the University of Connecticut to help faculty and help students basically move the needle in terms of entrepreneurship and commercializing their technology. And hopefully this view would connect with, what could be added to course materials, or try to have something related to entrepreneurship in engineering, chemistry, biology, and all the different kind of topics that the university teaches. So as for myself, as Dr. Tamer mentioned, I have a PhD in the Department of Chemistry at the University of Connecticut from USA in 2018. And after this, I got into a program called Global Entrepreneurship Program, which is a program that prepares students and faculties to move to basically industry and spin off their startup. So I'm currently affiliated to the School of Engineering and School of Business through this program. I also started my company right after my PhD graduation in 2019. It's called Voltson. And this is it. So I would like to start with a question. Let's have it, a little bit interactive in the beginning. So from the faculty that we have today, does any one of you have already a startup or have an idea that you want to commercialize from your own research? If you could say maybe in the comment section, yes or no, or maybe use the hand button to raise your hand, just to know,
I have my hand up.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so maybe I can start. I actually have a personal company, and this personal company is just 1 year old and mainly dealing with satellite data.
This is amazing.
Using spatial data, ArcGIS, and these things.
Amazing, Dr. Tamer. Thank you very much.
But I am sure maybe other as well. I will put my down hand. Okay, so maybe other has something to contribute.
Sure. So the idea is just to get an idea about, if we have faculty already having startups or not, but that's perfect. So maybe you will think of an idea you want to commercialize, or you will have a student who want to spin off a startup from your own research, from your research lab, and they want to commercialize this idea. So the question would be, let me try to move the slides. Yes. So if someone want to take a decision to spin off an idea, first I would like to make like a kind of an interactive job offering. So think of it as you have this idea you want to commercialize, but someone came to you and offered you $100,000 for a job. Leave your idea, get this $100,000 job. It could be a professorship in the university that you aspire to be in current university. Just leave your idea, leave your startup idea, and just come and work for this job for $100,000 a year. So by raise of hand, who would be willing to take this offer and drop off the startup and the idea? And yeah, let's be honest, it's just for fun. Anyone can raise his hand, want to accept my offer, $100,000, and abandon your idea? Okay, now we have, oh yeah, it depends on the job. It's the job that you want, the job of your dream. It could be a professor that you are looking for, a professorship in a different university or the same university. But this is the money amount that you would be willing to, for the job that you want, but not the startup idea. Any hands? Okay, that's perfect. We have one hand here. That's very good.
Who?
So, yeah, it looks like we have an offer already. So okay. What if the offer changes actually? The offer become $180,000 to leave your idea and come work for this organization.
Islam, I think most probably I will leave the idea from the first offer.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, if you accepted the first or second offer, then you came to get the third offer. So this is the third and last offer. It's a 250K, and you leave your idea, and finally you come to work for the organization. So the idea I'm trying to make here is, in fact, working on your idea or having a startup, it involves a lot of risk. So you're risking. So I'm now talking about the mindset of a spinning off a startup. If your student want to spin off a startup from your lab, you can ask him these questions, because starting a company involves a lot of risk. It involves a lot of work. You have to build a product, you have to refine your product, and then go to market, and then see if how things will play out. So actually accepting an offer is not a bad thing at all. It could be a good thing that we have a stable job that could provide the salary we want to live with. However, the reasons people want to start a company, as for the mindset part, some people say, yeah, I want to start a company because I want to be my own boss. Some people say, I want to have flexibility. I don't need to work from 9 to 5. Some people say, I want to start a company because I want to make a lot of money. And seemingly, though, these seem to be true, but reality is they are not. So after starting a company, I realized that I am not my own boss. My investor has a saying in what I do, and my customers, I have a commitment to them. So I have some kind of a boss in some sense. And working 9 to 5, I work more than that, because companies need a lot of work to push the needle forward. And to make a lot of money, this is only when the startup is successful. But reality is 90% of startups fail. So to make a lot of money is not actually even a good thing as a motivation to start a company. Reality is, starting a company would make sense if you want to make a positive impact, a product that wouldn't be existing if you didn't pursue it, at least for a while. So you're trying to come up with a different product or different service than what's currently available. Hopefully this will have positive impact on the people. And this is kind of a nice mindset to have, one of many, that, when you struggle through the company, starting the company, then this is something that will allow the person to keep working on it. But how would I start a company? How would I think about starting a company? So this is the mindset piece. There's a book called Start With Why for Simon Sinek, and he basically says that most people move from what to how, and then they come to the why at the end. And what he means by this is, if you ask any company what they do, he will tell you what product or service they offer. If you ask them how they do it, they will say, or how do they do it? And they will say to you, well, we do this, we have this product line, we have this patent pending process, this is how we do it. And when you ask them why you do it, and this is where you will get all kinds of answers. And some people don't even know why they do what they do. And when you want to start a company, you should start from the why part. Why I want to start this company, and what kind of, positive impact it's going to have, and how it will change people's lives. So when you start with the why, understanding exactly the motivation, now you will come to the how part, and then you come to the what part. It's like when you do material science research, you do some, I did that myself, you do some kind of experiments, you get a new material, which is the what. How did you do it? I put this and this, and I get this material. But why you do it? You said, oh, I don't know actually why I did that. Let's try find nice application to write a nice paper about it. However, the other approach is, how about we say, this is a problem I want to solve, and this is my why. I'm trying to solve this problem in the society, in the research, whatever. Okay, now how I can tackle this problem? It will become a little bit clear. What are the approaches I can take? And finally, what should I do? Would come at the end. So this is kind of a mindset when somebody is trying to start his company. So there's a nice saying for Steve Jobs. He said, ideas are worth nothing unless executed. So execution is worth millions. So basically, all of us have good ideas. Even my 9-year-old son, he got very good idea. But when I ask him about making execution, for his idea to turn it into a business, it's difficult. So most good ideas just die because we don't execute on it for different reasons. It could be we don't want to take risk, we don't want to face failure, we don't want to, so many things that, insecurities. But it's not easy, obviously, to make an execution unless the person has the right education and the right footsteps. What should we do? So now, how would I execute on my idea then? If I have an idea, I want to execute on it. What are the steps? So this is the mindset part. What we're coming next is the actual work. So the first step, basically, to know if your idea is actually a good idea, is to do what's called customer discovery. And customer discovery here, it means that you have an idea, you have a product in mind, you think, oh, who would be my customer? Who would be using my product? You go talk to the customers that you think they are customers, and then try to discover, before you go and make your product and put a lot of money and effort and time from your life to make a product, you want to make sure that your product has a market. It has a customer who would be willing to buy to get this service or product. So the customer discovery is basically an interview process where you go talk to the customer, get feedback, and solidify your assumptions. A famous example is X.com, which was done by Elon Musk back then. And they offered a lot of financial services online in the time that it was not actually existing, like eBay or such thing, or PayPal, or transfer money online. But they were offering many kinds of services, financial services. And what the feedback they got from the customers in the early days, they are not interested in all of them except the money transfer part from one person to the other. They shut down most of the services. They focus on the service that have a customer, and then they build their product, which lately become PayPal. So by customer discovery is actually, you are solidifying that what you have is a legit product. So talking about how our university tackled this, we have a program that's specific only for customer discovery. They give a small amount of money, $3,000, for each team. So basically they do it 3 times a year. Each year they accept 10 teams, and each team is given $3,000 with the purpose to spend the $3,000 for traveling and calling people, making interviews with your potential customer. They help you as sort of an incubator where they get the 10 team, they train them, they teach them how to do the interviews, how to solidify their ideas. And this is kind of the first stage of funding and mentorship at the University of Connecticut for people at the very early stage. You really want to know the answer before you spend money, time, and effort before moving forward. Obviously, there are global accelerators. These are accelerators that anybody can apply from any part of the world, US, Europe, Africa, Asia, whatever. So one of the most common accelerator, or most famous accelerator, is called Massive Challenge, which give you up to $1 million in funding. And there's another one called Y Combinator, which give $150,000 for 7%. They are 2 different organizations. The Massive Challenge does not take any money from you. You and your student, or you yourself, could apply for Massive Challenge and give them your idea, pitch to them your idea that you have, and if they want it, they can invest in you for no equity. So basically, they don't take any percentage from your company or your ownership. However, Y Combinator, they ask you, you should have a company, and they ask for 7% for 150K. And they also give you mentorship to move your idea forward. So what you really learn from the first part is how to build your business model, which is what you get from something like Accelerate UConn, the $3,000 they give you. You, at the end of the program, which is for 8 weeks, you meet 3 hours a week. You basically build your business model. You fill in these gaps. By the end, you'll have you should know what's your value proposition. Value proposition, which means what's what's the thing in your product that differentiates it from any other product or service in the market. You know your customer. What's your customer segment? For example, I have a product that was kind of a pacemaker that takes energy from the human body to power the pacemaker. So basically, I get rid of the battery and put this implantable device in for life without it changing. This was my idea in the beginning. And I thought my customer is the cardiac pacemaker patient. And at the end of the program, I realized that the cardiac pacemaker patient is not my customer. He's not the one who's ordering the pacemaker. So my customer is the surgeon that requests or which buy the pacemaker from the company. And I realized, that the insurance company is part of this conversation, and they have a lot of influence about the decision making. So you kind of understanding who's your customer, what's your relationship with your customer, what are what's the value proposition, and what's your cost, how you get money, the revenue streams, and you try to build your, what do you call it, the business model campus. When you build this, you'll have an idea about where you are really heading into before you really start the company or making progress. And once you have validated your idea, you will jump into the product development. Here, I'm not talking only about the products, which is the physical products, also the online kind of products or software products or apps. So usually when we do research, we stop at the proof of concept. So we just provide a new proof of concept that this device works or this model works, but we don't move ahead in the development cycle. So there are different kind of stages, I would say, that a product go through. A proof of concept, and then you go to alpha, which is kind of a more functional than the proof of concept. And then you have a release candidate, something that you could give it to a small number of people to try. And then you have a minimal viable product, which is a product that you could actually sell to the people. It's minimal because it's the minimum that a product could be. Obviously, if you look at the difference between a proof of concept and the MVP, or the minimum viable product, the proof of concept, it's something you cannot sell to anyone. It's just to show maybe investor this works, and I could develop this further. And when you go to the MVP and the beta stage, these are things that you can sell. It looks professional. It works every time. You could get feedback from the customer, and you really don't want to rush going to the market with something that's not ready yet, because this could kill the company completely and have a very bad reviews and about the company. So eventually, when you go to the beta, which is the product you want to sell, this is not the end. You measure the feedback, you learn from it, you react by making changes, and then eventually you show your product is actually working, and you have a growth growth revenue coming from selling your product or service. Obviously, if you are in the medical field, you have an extra layer of complexity which comes from the approval from the government. In the US, it's the FDA. So you have different kind of medical devices that have different paths to get FDA from, which is something you can do before, you must do, I would say, before you go to the market. So it's not as simple as just moving proof of concept, MVP, beta, and then go to market. Well, you have the beta, and before you go to market, you have to get FDA approval on this beta. So, for example, if you're working on diagnostics, things like the tests that we use for COVID and stuff like this could be considered as class 1 or class 2. But if you go to medical device that's implanted when it's like life or death kind of situation, then you're dealing with class 3, which is obviously more difficult and require millions of dollars to accomplish. Well, but how I'm going to get the funding for these things? So we'll jump back again to what kind of funding is available. Obviously, the first kind of funding is called non-dilutive funding, which is the grant funding. things we, as professors, it's available for you to apply for. In the US, we call it the SPIR or STTR, which is a small business funding basically. And they give you for stage 1 250K, and for stage 2 1,200,000, I think 1.2 million for stage 2, basically to move the needle forward in terms of the product development cycle we just discussed. In terms of the university level, we have different kind of fundings that once the university see that you did your customer discovery, then they make you jump into different programs to help you with the different things. So there's a program called Innovation Quest, which gives $15,000, which is an incubation for around 2 months. There's another program called Summer Fellowship, which accepts people who just validated their idea. They give them $15,000 as well, and 3 months of training. They teach them how to start a company, the legal work. They have a lawyer. They have mentors who have done it before and basically help each team individually to make progress in their venture. There is non-dilutive grants that does not include mentorship. We have a program called Third Bridge Grant, which gives you $30,000, up to 50 actually. And there is a program called CT Biopipeline, which you give also $30,000 for biomedical innovations. And we have a program called CT Innovation, which give up to $100,000 in funding for teams to pursue their venture. So these are non-dilutive funding. So this is the approach we are using at Voltson. The company started in 2019, and these are my co-founders. So basically, you have an energy harvesting technology. It's called triboelectric nanogenerator, which can harvest mechanical energy very efficiently. So we got these fundings. I showed you in the previous slide. We built our product line, and we are in conversations now with autonomous electric vehicle giant company and a smart building, another company for smart buildings. They want to integrate our product into their final product, basically. So in this case, they call it B2B or business to business kind of company, which us at the moment. There is B2C, which is business to customer, which you sell directly to the customer, like Apple or any other company. And there is other companies called C2C, customer to customer, where you are just a small, customer that you're just selling directly to another customer, maybe through Amazon or through something else. But in our case, it's a B2B kind of business at the moment. The approach we're taking in the company is called bootstrapping approach. Bootstrapping means we don't want really to raise fund and dilute our shares. We want to organically build our company, start generating revenue from what the other companies are going to pay us for our product, and then build the company vertically this way. And this is actually the approach very safe for professors. You guys can have your grant funding, you develop your product inside the lab as R&D, the research and development, and when it's ready, when it reaches to MVP or minimal viable product, you can spin off a startup and maybe in 6 months or a year start selling your product and generate revenue without diluting the founder's shares. However, there's another approach which most company takes, is called dilutive funding approach, where you raise funding basically. So you have different kind of investors for different stages. This is the first stage called pre-seed, where you raise from 10K to $1 million. Series A up to 10 million, Series B up to 25 million, Series C is 15 million or more. So obviously, these are different kinds of investment at different stages of the company. You raise it from different kind of investors. And eventually you have certain goal in mind. You are pitching to the investor that you're going to use your money for. So for example, the proof of concept stage, you're hiring people just to move from proof of concept to MVP. For Series A, you want to make a development, you have operation, you want to start marketing. For Series B, you're usually expanding your business, and for Series C, you're going mostly international, and you have a very billions of kind projections. You're pitching to the investors that you're going to achieve billions in the near future, so they would be willing to invest in you 50 million or more. So I would like to highlight 3 startups that I know personally. I know the co-founders personally. I would like to start with one from Egypt, because there was a perception that good investment would only come for startups present in the in the Western world, Europe or the US. But this is just 3 guys, and they came together last year, just in 2020. Abdurrahman, the one on the left side, I was having a barbecue with him last year. He has no idea, how to start a business, basically, and I would say he has an idea how to start a business, but he didn't have the idea solidated to start the business. What kind of business should I start? We're actually talking about ideas, and in that stage, he didn't have the idea just last year. And a few months later, he came with other 2 co-founders, and they started a company called ShipBlue, where they include artificial intelligence with the shipping process, where the customer would know where is the shipment at every single minute, even if it was in the street, which is something that it might exist here in the US, but also Europe, but it doesn't exist in Egypt. So he just included AI with the shipping and build the first business model on it. I think just very recently, like October 31, they raised 2.4 million for their company ShipBlue. The second company is for a friend of mine. His name is Maher Al-Qadi. He's in UCLA. He raised $64 million just 3 weeks ago. And Maher has a company called Nanotech Energy, which basically commercializes graphene-based products. They did a lot of work in graphene materials, and he used the graphene as a starting point. They started selling graphene inks, graphene solutions, graphene powder, and then they started building on graphene to make the graphene battery. And with the goal is, to use the battery for electric vehicles. So he started the company in 2014, and slowly, I could see him, grow from just a startup with 2-3 people to a startup now that has a lot of people working for it, and just raised $64 million for a $50 million evaluation. The last startup is called BioLink. And I know Josha, one of the co-founders, and he just announced it yesterday that they raised $100 million for their sensor. Basically, they invented in the research lab what they call the microneedle. It's a very small needle that you could put it on the skin. You can press it on the skin. You will not feel anything, and in the same time, it could deliver vaccine or treatment, and also could collect some blood samples to make diagnostics. So what he does is he used this microneedle to build the first product, which is continuous glucose monitoring. It's something that can be implanted under the skin and make a continuous monitoring of glucose for people who have diabetes. Even though there are market players still selling this product now, is doing it in a different way, which is less painful way. And this is why there's so much interest, and here is $100 million just yesterday at the end of the press release. So for this, I will conclude my presentation, and thank you very much for listening. I hope I could give you a flavor of the experience we have at the University of Connecticut of how they fund ideas and how the mindset of starting a new company. Thank you very much.
Well, so this is like short talk, just to give you 2 points, or this talk include 2 messages. The first one to show you the example how the US system is working, how the university supports the students by this small fund, this $3,000 fund, in order to test the market, and then giving more fund to the succeeded projects in order to start their startup. And also the second message from this talk is that he highlight in our today first talk, Andreas said that the innovation, we can teach our student innovation because it's something related to mindset. And he highlighted that we need to find a platform where we can put our students in order to interact with the business, to test their ideas without afraid to be fail. And here Islam highlights something different. He said that in order to execute your idea, in order to start your idea, you need to have some basic education. And this basic education will be the point of our interdisciplinary courses. So we need first to give them the basic education and then try to help them to find the idea and then try to put them in a real example, try to test it, try to shift their mind, try to test if the idea will work or not. Also, I highlight a few things related to, it's not only the Western countries, ideas can come from anywhere. He gave some examples from different fields. He gave example from people who use IT in shipping, in a shipping company to track the shipping. He gave example from the people who are have this micro needle to collect samples from your body or collect blood from our body, for example. So I think this is the three things that he highlighted. So first of all, how the system in US is working. Second, that we need to give our students the right skills or the right education before they execute their idea. And the third, that this ideas or this innovation idea is not limited to country. It can be from developing country, it can be from Africa, from everywhere. So maybe we can discuss this talk, and after that I can present like 5 minutes what's the Cloud Earth Eye project for you, and we can conclude after that the day. So this interview or this talk is open for discussion if you have any comment on it.
I just want to mention that I do agree with him. We definitely, I mean, yeah, innovation is a mindset, but I think we definitely can teach how to do these kind of things.
Yes.
And that's why so many business go into failure, because they don't have the correct training for that.
Yep.
At least in Mexico, when you try to apply for a funding for having like a small business, you have to go into this training. So it doesn't guarantee the success, but at least it kind of gives you a parameter to order your ideas and what is the goal, and not to expect that things are going to be successful in the first year. So definitely, yeah, I do agree with him. And also, of course, even examples of interesting or successful things can also kind of develop the imaginative idea of what a business can do. And as I mentioned before, the application of different techniques or different areas in places where we didn't think about it, right?
Yes.
That's about innovation.
Yes, I completely agree with you, and I will give you an example. But also, Debbie, I agree with you. So I think we both, at least two of us, agree with you. And I will give you, I don't know about Sarwat and Mahmoud and Denwin if they agree or not, but I hope you will agree as well. But I will give you an example. A friend of mine, he in Austria, he started his business and he bought almost 150,000 euro in this business, but he didn't study the market. He didn't have this basic knowledge how to run your business, and within 2 years he lost his money. So I think, yeah, it's mindset, it's experience, but you need to have this basic skills, how to manage things, how to manage your company. So I think it's very, very important, especially for our students who would like to be businessman or businesswoman. They need to have this layer of skills. And why we need to have this multidisciplinary courses? It's actually from his examples. If you see his example, he gave example from people who are working in the shipping sector, people who are working in the in medical sector, medicine sector, people who previous talk, Andreas, he worked with digitalization. So actually, if you look for this field of business, nothing of them or nothing of them in their basic study, in their university study, related to business. So they are engineering, or they are study chemical or chemistry, or they are studying mathematics or things like this, and now they have idea and they would like to jump to the business, but they don't have these skills. So this is why the idea to design multidisciplinary courses. So you can study chemistry, but at the same time, you can have some knowledge about how to run your business, how to establish your business model, just to give our students the knowledge that makes them aware, and then push them to the market. And after that, they can succeed or they can fail. So Debbie, please.
This is more just of a share. So one of the courses I do is, technology commercialization. So I wanted to do a deep dive in areas that tech companies fail. So I think there was one recent study, it was 42%, there wasn't a market fit. So it's classic, we see students, sort of PhD projects, master's projects, and then they're basically trying to retrofit their idea to the market, which is really difficult. So I think one of the things we try and do is just build, what they were saying about that customer journey. So things like empathy mapping, just tools that people can use to actually talk to customers. The other thing is, which kind of fills in with that, with the skills, is another huge percentage, I can't remember what it was, well, different studies have come up with different numbers, but it was actually cash flow. So cash flow management, so not getting the funding package right, not getting the right amount at the right time, but also then, how you manage that within the business. And these are skills that we can teach. So even if it's the mindset that gets people going, there's certainly tools and frameworks and models that we can teach, which is obviously something that, we like to try and include them.
I completely agree that we can teach something like this. Even he highlights that for the market fit, for example, he said that at his university, they give to of course, not all the students, selected students, they give them this €3,000 or $3,000 in order to check their idea against the market, if the market will accept their idea or not. And if the market accepts the idea, they start to go to the next step. So I think this is also a role that we as a university, we can play somehow. Of course, we need fund for that, but we can do it. And for the cash flow, I have another example for that as I will explain in a couple of minutes about the Cloud Earth Eye project. We have like a work package to support startups. And over the last 5 months, I was working with a group of people, a group of students, master students, to develop their business idea. And their business idea is unique one. And they even will succeed to defend it against other business idea, and they win the competition. But the problem, they didn't find someone who can put some cash to start the startup. So cash flow is another thing, how to teach a student how they can get money, how they can get investor into their idea, how to attract investor to their business ideas. Yes.
Actually, now that you comment that, I do remember something. I have some colleagues when I was on my PhD that they are into microbiology or something. The idea was amazing. You have to do like saffron in the in the lab like in 2 weeks, which is one of the most expensive spaces in the world, right? And then they applied for that and they didn't get the offer. And then one of the feedback was that they didn't have a really planned business idea. And so they needed a project manager for that. So of course I teach project manager before, and then I was like, oh, I can help you to kind of do these things. I was a PhD student anyway, so I kind of helped them, and it was like a completely different perspective. They could go to companies with this plan, show it to the investors. They didn't even have to apply for a funding anymore. They went directly with investors and they got the money. So how a good idea can be accepted just by having a business plan. And you don't even have to spend that much of that money, just as a colleague or something.
Yes. But here this is a point why I think multidisciplinary courses is important, because as you said that your friend who came to you asking you to help to develop their business or to find a business model for them, if we assume that they don't know you, they will fail, right? So actually they succeeded just because they know you and you helped them to develop
because
this business.
you usually hang out with the same people from your area, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if we assume that this student during their bachelor study and bachelor and master study, they have a bit of experience, just a bit of experience, not so deep, I think they will have the vocabulary, the ideas that can orient them somehow to find the right person. If they have no time to develop the business model, but at least they will have, okay, we need someone to develop the business model. We need someone, for example, now in Europe, we have this Green Deal, which is applied since last year or so. And for the Green Deal, you need someone who can test your business model, that your business model is not affect the environment negatively. So you need to add in your business model this component, this environmental component. And if you didn't know anything about this component, if you are a person who studies pure mathematics, for example, so you need to at least know a bit of these things. This is why I think that designing multidisciplinary courses is something very important. And again, I don't mean designing multidisciplinary courses to go in deep, to teach students in deep how to be environmental friendly, how to be sustainable. No, just very shallow things, in order to make the students at some stage speak the same vocabulary with other groups, with other people who are come from different backgrounds. I hope that you agree with me. I don't know if you agree or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I mean, even like back then when I was doing the bachelor, that was called company responsibility or something like that. That is pretty much the same thing that we have now as an environment.
Yes.
And just big companies had that. Now everybody should have that. And
yes.
that's when you have heard about it, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then you can just go. And I think it was in the first presentation when they say that, or maybe it was Debbie, I don't remember, like you just need to give them the skills to develop further.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why we're looking for.
Exactly. And also tomorrow I will present a presentation. Tomorrow we will have a couple of presentation, one from a businessman, a Norwegian businessman who are work with IT and artificial intelligence, and he will reflect deeply on how the university can contribute to his business. Also, we will present an interview with a professor to see the perspective from the academic point of view, and also an interview with a student, so to see how the students see the multidisciplinary courses. Is it important for them or no? The point here that one of this interview, the businessman shows that because he didn't have the right skills, he didn't have the right education, he spent 5 years of his life just struggling, and then he lose first company. he lose time, he lose money, just because he don't have enough or the right education. So I think it's important. You give them skills, you save their money, you save their time as well. I don't know if Sarwat with us is agree or not. Muhammad as well. Are you agree or not? Maybe he's not with us. Yeah, but anyway, this is the first day of the workshop. Yeah, Sarwat is agree with me. Yeah. So this is the first day of the workshop. So in the first day, we try to highlight one thing, which is the awareness. There is a need to design such multidisciplinary courses in order to make our students skilled enough, not only to start the business, but as I will show you tomorrow, that in the business sector itself, if you are hiring person, who is working as a human resource in human resource office, for example, in a company that work with IT, you need this person. He should be very aware about how to hire persons, how to manage the workers in your company. But at the same time, this guy should have some information, some knowledge about what is IT, because the company is IT company, right? So if we assume that you are have a big company that produce like software, and you have the most intelligent people who can develop software, this engineering, they need to know that they are working for business, and they need to come with timetable to develop their project, to develop their programs within the time frame that the company ask them. So not only the people who would like to be businessmen or businesswomen, but even the people who will work just as a worker in companies, they need such skills. Yeah. So today aim of the workshop is just to increase the awareness. Tomorrow we will start again at 10 o'clock UK time. If you are not in UK, it's 11 central, 11 o'clock at Central European time, and it will be like again like today, like 4 hours, something like this. And tomorrow we'll present 2-3 presentation or interview, and then we will follow with a discussion about the challenge itself. What is the challenge that we as academic or as a university facing in order to design these multidisciplinary courses? And we try to discuss how we can overcome this challenge, how we can solve it somehow. What is the challenge that we need to like make the academic leader aware of it, because there is some challenge that we can solve it. Like, for example, this funding things that the money will come to one institute, not to the other, or the credit that our students, if we have a course, multidisciplinary courses that is teaching between 2 universities, how the student will get the credit, for example, this we can solve. So we need a decision that higher decision from the higher level at our university. So tomorrow we'll discuss the challenge. And after that, the last thing tomorrow we'll do is because there is some people who was not attending the first part of today. So at the end of the day, we will try to suggest like project for each one of you. This project like an idea of a multidisciplinary courses. And this project, you can do it with a colleague here at our workshop, or colleagues that he is not here or she is not here. And you will work with this project, like the content, the vision of this course, the content of the course, if you will or you will not present this course, or you teach this course. Maybe you can just say, I just made this course or this project just for the workshop, nothing else. Or as you, for example, you would like to develop a multidisciplinary courses and you will teach it. So, and after that, I think in 8th of September, 8 or 9 of September, we will have like the conclusion day, and each of you will have like 10-20 minute presentation, a short presentation about this project, about the idea of the course, and then we will discuss it, followed with discussion, and that's all. So I hope this is meet your expectation from the workshop. And of course, as I said, we are very flexible. We can discuss different things that if this is not at your expectation, we can discuss other things. Okay, so now I would like, before we conclude the day, I would like to present something about the Cloud Earth. What's the Cloud Earth actually? So I will open a very short presentation. It takes less than 10 minutes.
Sorry, are we using the same link than today?
Yes, I will send once we finish, I will send the record for the people who is not attending with us, and for you, of course, and it will be the same link, but I will resend it again. But it will be the same link exactly. Yeah, maybe I can present this one. I will try to go very fast in this presentation, like 10 minutes, and then if you have any question, you can ask me also. You see my screen, right? Just 1 second. Sorry, you were seeing my screen? Yep. Okay. So I will share it again. So the project is this project, which this activity is running underneath it. It's called Cloud Earth Eye. I can skip this slide, or maybe I can present it. Like the question is, what is the main difference between developing and developed country? And actually, the main difference, I think, between developing and developed country is the walls between the university. I mean by walls that in developing country, there is a real wall. If you are businessman, you can't go to the university to ask help because there is a lot of things to do. But here in Europe, it's a bit different. So if you are businessman and you would like to ask help from a university or from academic people, you can go, you can ask, and you can get them in. So I think this is the main difference between the developing and developed country. However, this doesn't mean that we here in Europe or Western country, we are not in the good situation, because we have a challenge. We contribute as Europe. We are contribute for climate change. We contribute to biodiversity loss. We can see lack of inclusivity and diversity and justice. Example, the clear example of this lack of inclusivity, what we happen now between Russia and Ukraine. So these 4 things indicate that also we as a universities, which have our door open to the society, we still, there is a gap, there is somehow gap between us and society, between us and our students, between us and the business. And in order to fit this gap, in order to fight this challenge, we need to unlock the potential of the higher education system. We need to really make the higher education system, to make our university as the real engine of our society. And this will contribute to build a green future for the next generation. So I think all of what we can see, all the challenge that we are seeing now, the key actor is university. And the Cloud RSI actually is coming under umbrella called EIT, European Innovation and Technology Institute, European Institute for Innovation and Technology. The European Institute of Innovation and Technology succeeded to establish an initiative called HEY Initiative under the EU. And so far we are 50 projects in 2 calls. And this 50 project aim to bridge the gap between business, research, education, and society. So this initiative actually aimed to build a society that build on knowledge. We try to increase the knowledge of our society by increase awareness of our academic, because I can see, or I think you are agree with me, that we as academic, we are the core engine to the society, because we are teach students, and the students will go after that to be job to the job market. They will work for government institutes, they work as a teacher, they will work in the business sector. So actually we are producing these students, so we can make them aware of the needs, we can make them aware of the challenge that we have, and how we can help, or how they can help to solve some of the challenge. So this is the concept idea of the HEY initiative, is try to come together, try to make these gaps between education, research, and business a bit closer, try to close the gap between this. So Cloud RSI actually is one of this project, and the full title of the Cloud RSI is Innovation Capacity Building for Use of Big Data in Environmental Science, Sustainability, and Circular Economy. And we try to solve 6 challenge, or try to fight 6 challenge. Fight against climate change, challenge related to sustainable development, challenge related to net zero transition, and biodiversity loss. We try to solve a challenge related to circular economy, and of course our big goal is try to overcome skill mismatch and address the need of the labor market. This is why we have this workshop. We try to increase awareness between us as academics that the market, the business sector maybe needs something different than what we are teaching. Try to find this gap somehow and try to cover this mismatch. We are, as I said at the beginning of the talk, we are 6 institutes, 6 institutes, yes, 5 universities. We, the lead partner, Tromsø University. We have also Edinburgh University, Edinburgh Innovation with us, University of Applied Science of Burgenland in Austria, Alicante University in Spain, Varna University, Technical University of Varna in Bulgaria, and we have our business partner, GeForce. The main vision of our consortium, the 5 or the 6 institute, is that first of all, this is long-term collaboration, and I am very happy that I can see all of you from Edinburgh University. Maybe we can discuss this long-term collaboration once I finish the presentation. And second, that we see our consortium, our 6 institute, as driving force to increase innovation. So we are worked hard together in order to understand society, and in order to be the vehicle that can push our society more forward to green environment. And now I would like to present our business model, how our innovation vision action plan work, and how this workshop, how our workshop, the designing multidisciplinary courses, fit with this story. Actually, our business model, or the innovation action plan, include 4 legs or 4 arms. First of all, we have domain 1. This is to fostering institutional engagement in change by enhancing scale and the scope of students and staff engagement activity, and develop infrastructure for that. So our workshop actually is come underneath the first point. We try to engage the staff. If you followed me today, I try to say one of the side mission of this workshop, try to like inspire your mind. If you have a business idea, as Mahmoud, for example, Mahmoud has a business idea in his mind. So one of the basic aims of today workshop is to try to inspire the mind. Okay, maybe you can, as academic, you can think outside the box in order to move from just idea to real business. So this is one of our missions. The second mission is to strengthen the partnership between the business, the academia, and nonprofit sector. So actually, some activities in this project, it's not here in this workshop, but in general in this project, we try to invite business people to us, try to discuss with them to see their needs, what is the need of the business sector in order to build this communication between academia and the business. Also, we have developing infrastructure, as I will come in the next slide, and this is an important point for us. And this is, as Andreas today, the first interview, he highlight a point that we need to establish a platform in order to make our students test their idea. And this is one of our target in the Cloud Earth Eye, as I will present in a couple of minutes. Contribute to developing innovation and business. Try to develop structure and condition for people to create and develop their business and startup. So actually, we help existing startup. So we for example, the Edinburgh Innovation has a target to help 6 startup that working in the field of Green Deal, zero net emission, big data things. So our goal is to help 12 startups within 2 years. And actually we succeeded so far to help 6. And even we succeeded to push one of our students to create a new startup. So in our course for the students, you know, we have courses for academic people, and we have teaching activity or courses for the students. And one of our students succeeded to create his startup, and even he start to make profit by now. And the last leg for us, or the last arm of us, is enhance the quality of innovation education. So actually we try to develop new teaching material. We try to develop new courses. And again, what we are doing here in this workshop is coming under this arm, or under this aim. So actually we are between domain 1 and domain 4. So here we try to create new courses. And maybe if you are interested at some stage, we can teach this course through the Cloud Earth Eye. I will skip this slide. This is why or how we get these 4 domains. Actually, we have a tool called self-assessment tool for higher education. And our institute, our 6 institutes filled this survey, and we came with sort of gaps in our structure, our institutional structure. So this is just to show that this project is built on real analysis, that there is a need from our 6 institutes to cover these 4 domains. Now I will present you very shortly about the KPI that we achieved during phase 1. We have 2 types of courses. We have courses called Inspiring the Minds. This is for students. up to PhD students, master and bachelor students. And for this Inspiring the Mind, actually, it's like a layer, a simple layer of basic knowledge. We give our students basic knowledge about business, how to establish your business, how to make your business green, how to get benefit, financial benefit out of your business, and how to use big data in order to see your market, analyze your market. And the second layer of this course is a bit deep courses in the big data, deep courses in the business things, deep courses in environmental science. And we have things called Teach for Our Future. And this is actually courses or workshops for the academic. And our workshop today is underneath this program. This is just some numbers. During the first months, we succeeded to train 219 students. We succeeded to monitor 91 students. We trained or we discussed with 20 academic staff and 22 non-academic staff. And here I mean by non-academic staff, people who are work at university, but non-academic, like in administration unit or in IT unit or things like this. This is example of our student classes. So you can see here, it's not classical classes. We try to inspire the mind. You see here, this is business models for our students. So they are both business model. We discuss with them. Actually, we start our basic course with asking the students just come with a business model, regardless if this business idea, regardless if this business idea is well developed or not. Just come with a business idea. And over 8 weeks of teaching, we try to teach them each week a concept, and we ask them to apply this concept to their idea. And after 4 weeks, we ask them to present their idea and make a comparison between the first idea, the first draft of the idea, and the last or the final conclusion idea. And as I said, one of our students, he's found that there is an added value from this course, and he succeeded to move his idea from just idea to a real business. One of the things that we need to strengthen the partnership with the business. So actually, we accelerate companies. This of course, this is an old presentation. So actually, it was 6 months ago. We accelerate 2 companies, company in Slovakia called SmartHit, and this is work with online platform to help companies to be more sustainable. And Orbayu, this is a company that help again the companies to be less emission. And over the last 6 months, we succeeded to support 4 companies more. And now I will come to the last thing, which is infrastructure. Actually, we are developing now something called the Cloud Earth Digital Hub. The Cloud Earth Digital Hub should be work within 2-3 weeks from now. So I assume before we conclude our workshop in September, the Cloud Earth Digital Hub will be online. And you as academic, you can go to this Cloud Earth Digital Hub. The Digital Hub actually is a pool, as you see here. It's a pool from a database from the academic. So you are, as academic, you can go and you can say, I am a professor of business school, or I am a professor of mathematics, and I can contribute to the business with this idea. And I have these courses. So you are presenting yourself. We have like a database for courses. So if you would like to put a course here, you are welcome to put your course here. We have some courses there. And we have a database for students. So students can present themselves, they can put their CV. So the student can search the courses. So if you are a student, or if you know students, he can or she can go to the courses database, and she or he can pick up any course. The student can communicate with the academic. So maybe you, as academic person, you can find a PhD students or master students from this set. But the most important thing that we have a database for the business sector, for the companies, for the NGO as well. So business sector can offer internship, can offer training program, can offer problems. For example, if you are owner of a company and if you have a problem and you need a help from academic, you can say, okay, I have this problem. Can I get a help from academic? And then one of the academic can come and, okay, I can help you, and I have a student who can contribute to this problem. So this is the infrastructure. I think this is we are developing now, and I assume this is what Andreas in his first talk today tried to mention, that we need to develop an infrastructure or platform that allows the students in order to communicate with the business, with society. So we are developing this in our context. So actually our project is a bit more than this workshop, but this workshop is very, very important. This workshop is, I think it's a core engine, because, you know, when we are discussing together, as I said at the beginning, we had, this is the third workshop. This is the third time to run this workshop. And based on the first two workshops, we succeeded to get fund from Erasmus Plus to run a project for 3 years to design multidisciplinary courses. So I can see this is a positive conclusion from this discussion. So maybe you can see, okay, this workshop may be under my expectation, but by the end of the workshop, after 2-3 weeks from now, we will get a benefit out of it. And I hope that you are seeing this benefit somehow. Yeah, so this is just an overview to see the overview of the Cloud Earth Eye. So actually we are teach for the students, we are discuss with the academic, we even we have like round table discussion with the leaders of our universities in order to make them aware of the challenge. So actually the message that we will come tomorrow, so tomorrow we will discuss the challenge, what is the challenge that we have in order to design multidisciplinary courses, and the challenge that we can't solve, that we need like a higher decision maker, like the leader of our university, to be aware. We try to organize roundtable discussion with our leader in order to make them aware with the conclusion of the outcome of this workshop. Also, we try to establish infrastructure for the academic, for the student, for the business. We try to accelerate companies. We try to teach our students. So it's different things. I would like also to highlight here, just as a part of this Cloud Earth initiative or Cloud Earth project, we submit a proposal to EU. It's called Seed Plus, and Seed Plus, we ask for money from EU. And if we got this money will be used in order to give our students this 3,000 euro to explore the market. So we try to develop ourselves, our university somehow, in order to support our students to be good people for our society. Yeah, that's all. So I don't know if you have any question. Of course, this is just to give you an overview about the Cloud Earth Eye, and to put some context around the workshop, how the workshop is fit within this big umbrella, and also to ask you if you have any contribution to the initiative. If you would like to offer a course, for example, you are more than welcome. Maybe I know that you are very busy, but maybe if you have PhD students who would like to contribute with some teaching, maybe one or 2 days workshop, we can organize this workshop for him or for her in order to teach our students something. So you are welcome. This Cloud Earth Eye is not my project, not UIT project. It's for Edinburgh University. I can see it. Most of the people here from Edinburgh. So Edinburgh University is a partner here. So if you have any idea, just you can jump, you can put it here, and we can explore how we can make this idea fit within this program. So I don't know if you have any question, or we can conclude our session today.
It's clear for now. Thank you.
Super, thanks.
Yeah, I think probably when we get to the end of the course, we'll be better placed to see what we can contribute back.
Yeah, of course. You can, you know, it's just brainstorming. You can think we still have a month of work from now until beginning of September, or 9 of September. So by the end, you can just say, okay, I can contribute with that, or sorry, I can't contribute. So it's up to you. Yep, super. So I would like to thank you very much. I will send you the record of our session for the people who are not with us today. I will send this to all the people, for the 8 persons who are registered for the workshop, and also with a link for tomorrow's session, which will start at 10 o'clock UK time. But again, tomorrow's session will use the same link as today. So thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye. ثروت باشا.
ريس هاني.
صباح العسل يا ريس.
سامعني؟
سامعك يا باشا، امال ايه؟
معلش اصل انا حاطط اللابتوب تحت المكتب وبص له على الشاشه فوق، فعشان اتكلم لازم انزل تحت المكتب.
الحمد لله هو تحت المكتب مش تحت السرير. او ثانيه واحده بس، اقفل الريكورد لاننا بنسجل. ازاي الريكورد ده؟ الريكورد بيتقفل من هنا.